students, again we are here for our bio lecture where a small review let's do. The last lecture we had done, I had started with the 5K classification. याद करो, 5K means 5 kingdom, where remember Monera, Kingdom Monera, we completed. Kingdom Protista, we also completed this. Where a small review let's do. We saw Protista organisms which were plant-like, animal-like, fungi, and also we saw euglenoids. Just a small brushing up so that you come into the tempo of the topic. Now today's topic, afresh I start with Kingdom Fungi. Let's start Kingdom Fungi. Now, while discussing about these kingdoms, remember that as we go ahead with these kingdoms, there is always a speck of development. सबसे primitive we saw bacteria placed right on the top, and the most complex organisms, animal, right at the bottom. At the bottom doesn't mean that they are at the bottom. It means that they are the most developed. You should remember I told you that Animalia, the most developed kingdom. Why so? Because here you see animals where they have nervous system and sense organs. Do plants have? No. Do fungi have? No. Right? Fungi, kingdom fungi, they are very much eukaryotes or eukaryotic. They are few species, they are unicellular, but majority of them are multicellular. They have body which is filamentous. If I use the word filament, which means thread-like, filament means thread-like. Such a filamentous body, the mass filamentous body, we call it as, these are all very important terms which are very, very important for your future chapters and future classes. Mycelium is the term used for the filamentous body. Now these mycelium is singular and mycelia is plural. Each thread, if I take one single thread, we call it as hyphae. Again, a very important term, hyphae. If these hyphae, if I use the word if they have a wall, a separating wall I can see, then we call this as septum singular, septa plural, anyway we call it as septate. If the mycelium has the wall, we call it as a septate mycelium, and if it is not having the wall, I'll erase this. Just see carefully. I'll erase this. And here you see a continuous flow of cytoplasm and the nuclei. Here I darken the nuclei. It's a continuous flow of cytoplasm. Such a condition we call it as, again, a very important term. We call it as cenocytic condition. Here we call it as cenocytic. We call it as cenocytic condition. Now, these fungi, give me a moment, I'll just clear the board. Now these fungi, let's see their mode of nutrition. Mostly they are heterotrophic, means they depend on others for their nourishment. And the heterotrophic also, a very precise word I use is saprophytic, which means they depend on dead and decay material. You find them on decayed bread, decayed dead bodies, decayed plant products. So you find them everywhere, mostly on the dead and decayed. They reproduce mostly by asexual method. And when conditions are unfavorable, they go with sexual method. I'm sure asexual method, I'm pretty sure that you would have heard the term spores. They reproduce by spores. And when the conditions are unfavorable, the temperature is risen, or the surrounding salinity is more, or whatever, then they reproduce by sexual method, which is conjugation method. Right? I hope things are getting clearer now as we are going to each kingdom. Okay, I use this part of the board. Here, these fungi, depending on one of their body structure, body part, they are divided again into 4 categories. Number 1, something called as Phycomycetes. Now before I go further, one thing remember, myco is a prefix for fungi. Anything related to mycetes, it's all connected to fungi, related to fungi. It's a prefix. Phycomycetes, it is commonly called as algal fungi. Here you notice that this algal fungi, it shows photosynthetic nature. That's why it's called as alga or algal fungi. It's green in color. And here, phyco itself means algae. A very good example I give up here is mucor, greenish, which you see greenish whitish growth on the spoilt bread, right? The second category I go about is Ascomycetes. Now this is commonly called as sac fungi. Sac fungi is, the name is due to its structure, a sac-like body, which the sac-like body called as ascus, which stores ascospores, hence the name Ascomycetes. Here an excellent example I can give you is Aspergillus, penicillium. Next is the third category. I go about it. Third category is very common, I'm sure you would have heard of. Basidiomycetes. Here the unique feature is they have body which is highly branched, and they have a body part which we call it as basidiocarp. And this basidiocarp stores basidiospores. And a very excellent example which you know it very well, which you eat also, edible mushroom, which we scientifically call it as agaricus. Right? This was about Basidiomycetes. The fourth category, let me use up this part of the board and save some time. Here this is called as Deuteromycetes. Deutero का मतलब ही है false, something not perfect. I can use the term imperfect fungi. Right? Because here they don't have a proper filamentous body. They behave little different from these regular fungi. Now this was all about fungi, kingdom fungi. Clear? Now let's stop here for this lecture, and in my next lecture I'll continue with kingdom Plantae and Animalia and a very small note about viruses. Okay students, now a goodbye for now.